Here's my attempt at creating a long, engaging, and fictionalized revenge story based on the provided Reddit post. I still remember that fateful evening like it was yesterday. I had just left the movie theater in Portland, Oregon, after watching the latest Marvel blockbuster with my friends. We were all buzzing about the thrilling plot twists and action-packed sequences when suddenly, our excitement turned to frustration. As we walked out of the parking lot, I noticed a car parked almost touching mine, only 4 inches away from my driver's side door. The parking lot had plenty of available spots, so there was no reason for this driver to park that close. At first, I thought it was just a careless mistake, but as I looked closer, I saw the Lyft sticker on the back window. Aha, now we're talking. My friend Emily, who was with me at the time, noticed my anger and asked if everything was okay. That guy parked his car right next to mine, I explained, trying to keep my cool. But as I looked closer, I saw something that made my blood boil. The license plate number on the other car matched the Lyft sticker. This guy was a professional. I took out my phone and snapped a quick picture of the offending vehicle, making sure the Lyft sticker and license plate were both visible. My friend Emily raised an eyebrow as I muttered under my breath, "This guy's going down." We decided to report him to Lyft, hoping they'd take action against this reckless driver. I quickly messaged Lyft support, sending them a photo of the car with its license plate number prominently displayed. The response was prompt within minutes. I received an automated message asking for more information about the incident. I patiently explained what had happened and attached another photo of the car from different angles, just in case they needed it. Days turned into weeks, and I had almost forgotten about the whole ordeal when I received a follow-up email from Lyft support. They thanked me for my report and assured me that they would take necessary measures against this driver. But what really caught my attention was their next sentence. "We care about our Lyft drivers meeting established requirements." Established requirements? What did that even mean? I was skeptical, but I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they were just trying to cover their own backsides. So I waited patiently for some kind of resolution, hoping against hope that this driver would be held accountable. But as the weeks turned into months, I realized that Lyft support had no intention of taking real action. They sent me generic responses, apologizing for my experience and telling me to feel free to reach out if I needed anything else. That's when it dawned on me, they were just going through the motions. I was livid. All this time, I had been trusting Lyft to do the right thing, and now I felt betrayed. The driver who had parked his car next to mine still hadn't faced any consequences, despite my efforts to report him. It seemed like a never-ending cycle of incompetence and inaction. As I sat at home, seething with anger, an idea began to form in my mind. Why not take matters into my own hands? After all, I had been wronged, and it was time someone paid for their recklessness. But as I thought about the potential consequences, a small voice inside me whispered, "Astrid, what are you doing?" It was then that I realized this wasn't just about one driver, it was about the entire system. I decided to dig deeper, researching every possible way to expose Lyft's lack of accountability. I scoured online forums and social media groups, looking for others who had similar experiences with this company. And what I found shocked me. There were countless stories of drivers who had been allowed to continue operating despite their reckless behavior, putting innocent passengers at risk. It was then that I knew I wasn't just fighting for myself. I was fighting for the safety and well-being of every person who used Lyft. And with that realization came a newfound sense of purpose. I spent countless hours poring over documents, gathering evidence, and building a case against this company. I reached out to local media outlets, sharing my story and hoping someone would listen. At first, it seemed like an uphill battle after all. Who wants to take on a giant corporation? But slowly but surely, the attention began to snowball. More and more people came forward with their own stories of Lyft's negligence. And then, something amazing happened. A local news station picked up my story, featuring me live on air as I shared my experiences with their audience. Suddenly, I was thrust into the spotlight, a small but vocal advocate for change. Lyft finally took notice, and within weeks, they issued an official statement apologizing for their handling of the situation. They promised to review their policies and procedures, ensuring that drivers who engaged in reckless behavior would face real consequences. It was a victory, but it wasn't just about me. It was about every person who had been affected by Lyft's lack of accountability. As I looked back on that fateful evening when I first reported the driver, I realized that this journey had changed me in ways I never thought possible. I had discovered a newfound sense of purpose and passion for advocacy, using my voice to make a difference in the world. And as I stood outside that parking lot, looking at the spot where that reckless driver's car had once been parked, I smiled, knowing that justice had finally been served.